I've loved trains since the day I was born.
That's all he's ever wanted to do, was be an engineer. And a lot of my friends have said to myself and to other people that they'd never known a boy that always knew what he wanted to do. And Brant always knew. It was always an engineer on the railroad. He always liked music, and he always liked Johnny Cash, because Johnny Cash sang all the railroad songs, and Brant knew every word to every railroad song that Johnny Cash sang.
Come all you rounders if you want to hear the story about a brave engineer. Casey Jones was the roller's name. On a 6-8 wheeler boys he rode to fame.
I mean, just everything was just trains, trains, trains. Every town we went to, we had to find the trains.
Trains were everything. For his room, train wallpaper, everything was trains, and you couldn't touch his trains. He always talked about how he's going to work for the railroad. I'm going to be an engineer. I'm going to work on the railroad.
I'm going to be an engineer. That's what I've always wanted to do since day one. I can think of nothing that I like more than running an engine, you know. I don't know what it is or why it is, but that's the way it is.
Casey Jones leaning out the window, taking a trip to the promised land.
Medical dispatch?
Yes, this is St. John's Railroad Depot at Columbia, and I think it's North Portland Road.
Uh-huh.
We have a man who's been run over by a railroad car.
Rescue 22 calling.
22, you're loud and clear. Go ahead.
We have a 26-year-old cut in half by a train.
Yes, sir. Is this male or female?
26-year-old male who has been cut in half by a train right about the waist. Believe it or not, he's alert and oriented and conscious.
Our worst fears were confirmed when we approached the train and saw a man cut in half by a train with the area littered with pieces of his tissue.
My initial reaction was that on the ones that I've been on before like this, the people are dead.
Medical Research Hospital, Life Flight 1.
It was like everything was kind of almost slow motion, you know. And all the colors were real bright and vivid, and sounds and everything were, you know, real clear. It was really strange. It was like, you know, when I was dragging down the track, it was like I say, kind of slow motion. And I knew what had happened. You know, I knew that they had cut my legs off. And I could see one of them was laying in the, kind of in the middle of the track, only it wasn't hooked on anymore. And well, I never did see the other one. I don't know what happened to it. That was kind of a drag, you know, and I thought, well, shoot, I'm going to cash in my chips right here on the ground at East St. John's.
One of his legs was completely severed. Not a clean sever, but it was completely severed. The other one was still attached. Probably 15% of his leg was still attached to the leg that was underneath the train wheel.
Hi, Bob, Medical Research. Update. Patient is still conscious and alert. He's got a heart rate of 100, pressure is 80 pounds, respiratory rate of 20.
He needed emergency surgery right then. My partner and I talked, and the decision was made to go ahead, and we talked to him and told him what we had to do. He said to do it.
They put a mask on me, and they were talking to me to try and, you know, keep me awake because I wanted to go to sleep.
I don't remember telling him that he had lost both legs, but I think it would be really tough for him not to realize that. He just told us to do whatever needed to be done.
Just closed the doors in the helicopter, about 3-minute flight time. Status quo on the patient.
The wounds were very torn up. There's a lot of debris, grass, clothing, shattered bone, and fragments of flesh in there.
I was in there, and I remember all the bright, you know, the lights above me and everything, and I kept saying, you know, I want to go to sleep, I want to go to sleep.
The role of the initial treatment is to go back to living tissue. We had to do that, and that required removing a great deal of more tissue. And we were finally left with 2 stumps of bone, which had to be cut back because with no muscle to cover the bone will only become infected. At the time, I thought it would be impossible to fit him with any prosthetic devices and that he would have a wheelchair-bound existence for the rest of his days.
I think the first person I saw was Kathy.
Yeah, the first time I saw him, it was real hard. It was in ICU or whatever, and it was very short. I don't even know for a fact that he recognized me. He didn't say my name or anything when I walked in, and he just kind of sat up and said, "I don't have any legs." And I said, that's okay. I love him because he had legs, and it didn't make any difference, and it didn't change anything.
You're going to feel some cold. You may feel a little bit of pull because I'm debriding some of these old scabs now. They're starting to come off real nice.
It's tough to look down there. Not too long ago I could look down there. I had nice muscular legs. And I could look down there and I could, they were there. I could see them. It's just real hard to look down there now, and I know they're healing and stuff, but they're short, and they're kind of gross, and it's hard psychologically, hard mentally to do that for me. Like I say, a little over a month ago, I had nice legs down there, and now I got these little stumpy things with skin grafts and stuff on them.
You blame God, you blame everybody, and why didn't it happen to someone else? Why didn't someone else who worked on the road, who you know or who you do, maybe they didn't do as good a job, or you didn't think they were as committed or wanted it as bad as Brett wanted it. And why wasn't it them, or why was it us?
You look down there, bang, it's like bricks hitting you, My legs are cut off, I can see it, it's final, and it just drives that point right on home.
Okay, I'm going to tell you this one, I'm going to give it.
I'm reminded of it every time I get in that stupid wheelchair. Because I want to swing my feet off the edge of the bed and get up, and I can't. I got to shimmy and slide and lift myself into a wheelchair. So I get reminded of the fact that I am how I am just about, every second that I'm awake. But when the dressings are off and I have to look down there and see what's left, it just kind of sticks a little harder, I guess. Geez, I can't hardly even move anymore.
I bet you're probably wore out.
All right, just kind of hold my back for a minute so I can fall back.
I had a lot of people tell me then that there was no reason to stay. You weren't married, you didn't have to stay with him. And that totally shocked me because I could not for a minute think about leaving because it wasn't important. The legs, that wasn't an important thing to me.
Sometimes I'm just in here by myself and all of a sudden it just comes on, and the tears started flowing, and some of it's thinking of the past, some thinking of the future, some right now. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I look down, and where my legs used to be, there's nothing. And that'll get me sometimes. That's not as bad anymore. I think I've kind of gotten through that stage and gotten to the point where I can look down here and say, well, gee whiz, I'm 3 feet shorter than I used to be.
How are you doing?
Doing good.
Okay. Can you turn just a little bit so I can get this wrap on?
I can still feel my legs, I can still feel my feet right now, even though they're not there. The other morning I woke up, I had a dream that I was out running around with my friends, and we were playing hide and go seek, of all things, one of my least favorite things to do. But I was, you know, I was running and jumping and all that good stuff. And I woke up and, you know, I was in here by myself. And my legs were there. You know, I was having phantom sensations. My legs weren't there. I wasn't waking up from anything except a dream that I was running around and jumping like I used to.
How about some Cheerios and a banana tomorrow?
Okay.
That be okay? I never, ever worried about him getting hurt on the railroad. I never worried about it. I worried about him being in a car accident. My biggest thing to him was always fasten your seatbelt, because I knew he had to drive sometimes longer distances to get to work. But I never, ever, it never even entered my head that he would be hurt on the railroad.
I cry a lot for the emotional pain, you know. The first few weeks when I was here, you know, over in the big hospital, I didn't do that. And I just, you know, I was gutting it up and trying to be strong. But then it just got to the point, you know, I couldn't keep it in anymore. And just one afternoon, I just lost it completely, you know, for hours. I just, basket case.
As a mother, when you see your child hurt like this, all you want to do is to make it better, because as a mother, usually you can kiss it and make it better. And this time I couldn't. And there wasn't anything I could do, nothing I could do. And I kept thinking, I guess, why couldn't I just give Brent my legs and make it better, you know, and to fix it for him? Unfortunately, we can't do that. I thought this might be a good guy to throw.
Keep me from throwing my wheelchair out the window.
Yeah, throw that instead of the chair, it'd be easier.
It's really funny because now when I watch TV, my eyes are drawn to everybody's legs. And it's kind of strange. Even on TV commercials, I look at the legs. I mean, I just constantly focus on that no matter what I'm watching. And, you know, it goes in my mind, well, that guy's got legs, and gee whiz, he's walking around. You know, I sure wish I could have mine back.
He's almost 27 years old, and I guess maybe I've hung on long enough. I want to say maybe I love him more, but I didn't think I could love him any more than I loved him. I think one of my first reactions was I just wanted to pick him up and carry him away to Never Never Land, you know, where that we could just both go together, where nothing would hurt him or hurt me, you know, anymore.
This is it. This is forever now. As much as I don't like it, I mean, I hate it. I don't like it. How's it looking good down there?
Tell you, Brent, if I were to describe this to you, I'd say you're about between 90 and 95% healed in down there. There's some areas there, size some dimes.
But they're looking good.
They're looking very good.
I guess just dealing with it, I think, is the hardest thing, you know. And having to slide and stuff, you know, and go outside and practice getting into the car. And that was pretty hard on me because, you know, a month ago, I just hopped in the car, you know. I just hopped out of bed and hopped in and out of a chair or whatever, and can't do that anymore, you know. I think that's the hardest part, you know. Sometimes the mental thing is a lot harder than the physical thing.
With the exception of maybe half a millimeter, it's almost all healed in. That's a candidate for some cream. you listen to the patient, because the patient is that key. You're not going to be able to change things for them. You can steer them, you can be a patient advocate, you can do a number of things to help them along, but ultimately it's that patient's responsibility. And once you give them the keys and you say, this is it, this is what you got to work with, then the motivation hopefully will come along as gradually as that patient can come to grips with the various challenges. The important thing is to be patient with yourself, too.
That'll be the hardest part, because I'm not a patient person. You know, I like things and I like them right now.
I want what I want when I want it.
Right. And I'm used to being able to
get what you want,
get what I want, when I want, and how I want. And now, I guess that's the other thing about this that's really different for me personally is, you know, losing that total control.
Take a chance, take charge, and like Irene was talking about yesterday, take control. I tried to find some positive things for Brent because I think he needs that, and I think he needs it daily. I think he needs humor and laughter. I think laughter is a marvelous healer. And I just thought maybe it would help him to read something positive.
That's a good one.
Every day. Take control of your life every day and how you want it to be, and that's how it's going to be. And I know you can do it.
I know I can too. Well, let's do it. When I'm lifting and riding the bike and everything, that, especially riding the bike, gets my blood going and everything, and I'm hoping that, you know, I'm saying send some blood down here and get some nutrients and stuff down there to help that heal up. I tell myself, well, this is going to increase my endurance and my wind, which is going to be real important when I'm walking on my artificial legs.
I think it will get harder and I don't think Brent has a full realization of how difficult it's going to be to get fit with the limbs, how uncomfortable it's going to be, how much energy it's going to take. They say that having 2 below-knee amputations takes less energy to walk than 1 above-knee amputation. So you can just imagine what 2 above-knee amputations plus the 1 being so short is going to take an enormous amount of energy.
Let's have you lay on your stomach a little bit and do a couple of exercises.
His scar tissue, as it heals, it really tightens down, so he needs to work real hard on loosening up that scar tissue so that when he goes into the prosthesis, it will be flexible with him and not rub.
That is about -8 degrees.
And Brent's at risk for contractures, which are a permanent tightness of some of the muscles. And the reason for that is the muscles that flex the hip and bring the hip out to the side are still intact because there's still enough bone left that they insert in their normal place. The muscles that counter those, that bring the leg in and extend it, normally insert down around the knee, and so they're not fully there. They don't have their full strength. So the normal pull of the muscle is going to pull the leg up and pull this femur bone out to the side. So we need to prevent that from happening because that would be very hard to fit the prosthesis. So he has to, in addition to strengthening all the muscles he has to very particularly keep the hip flexors stretched out by lying on his stomach, and he needs to keep these abductors stretched out by crossing them in towards midline.
Okay, what do you have at home in terms of,
Well, let's see, what color is my putty at home? I think it's yellow.
okay, that's too soft.
I think there's a difference when patients are inpatient rather than outpatient. When they are an inpatient, the environment is more controlling. So, and a lot of emotions, the shock, the anger, frustration, they may be put aside for now. But when they come to outpatient, it's a different program or even stage of their rehabilitation because they have gone home, kind of experienced what reality is, and then they are faced with their attitude about their disability.
Little toast, Brent.
You're giving a speech,
Toast. I'm not giving a speech.
No speeches.
Here's to the greatest nephew I ever had.
To my favorite brother.
It's just such a difference between the way I left him in the hospital and the way I come back now. He's just so much more back to himself. He's just really anxious to get out and get into the world and get back and just be as normal as he possibly can. And he said to me on the phone, he said, you know, I want to be happy again someday, and I'll do what I know what I have to do to get that way.
Okay.
Did you go home and lift weights last night or what? Gee whiz.
I'm gonna have to keep up with you. What was that? Your skin?
Yeah,
Got in the wrong spot?
It's okay. Let's just keep going.
What we're working on mainly is loosening up the tissue underneath the scar tissue. It's where he's had the skin grafts on the ends of his stumps. When there has been a lot of scarring or like I say with the skin grafts, then where those two come together, it's very tight. The new tissue that forms is usually a lot less movable than your normal skin tissue.
I'll tell you, when they really feel weird is in the shower. Get some hot water on them. And then about 5 minutes after you do that, boy, then they just go berserk.
They're so sensitive, you mean?
Well, I don't know, it must stimulate the nerves or something somehow, because when I start feeling everything, things that I don't have anymore, but it's really weird. I can feel my feet and my toes and my calves even.
Sure.
And my knee. I feel where the inside of your knee on the back. I feel that a lot.
Mostly, we're waiting for the healing process to finish. There's still some open skin areas, and once he is healed up and strong enough and able to handle a prosthesis fitting, then he'll be going in for that.
I thought I was done with all this. I'd done it twice already and didn't really want to do it a third time.
So surgery this morning, huh?
Yeah, I guess.
What are they gonna do?
They amputated the neck.
You're gonna put a skin graft on the end of his right leg.
Oh, okay.
Throwing a wrench into the machinery Because now instead of, you know, going to Oklahoma City to get some legs put on me, I'm back in the air to get another stupid skin graft. And then I gotta wait for it to heal up now, you know, before I can go.
See you later.
Let's rock and roll, buddy.
Well, I just know it's gonna hurt, you know. So I do remember this other skin grafts when they took it off my back, you know, and you wake up and it's like fire, you know, like hurts so bad. Gonna set me back. I'll have to build up strength and all that stuff again.
The skin coverage to the soft tissues of the stump had broken down, and plus the skin graft wasn't 100% take either. The skin graft is on bone to a large degree, and the bone has been covered with scarred tissue, and it's not a very good bed for the split thickness skin graft to take to.
Okay, let's scrub it up.
Okay, you scrub home.
I need this is the donor side here. Up there.
Then he sits on it, and when he tries to move around on the floor and readjust his position with his arms, he tends to kind of traumatize that stump too. And since the graft is on hard bone tissue, it doesn't have as much play in it, and it breaks down. We took a little slab of split thickness skin graft. The skin is made up of epidermis and dermis, and you take the dermatome, and dermatome is like a cheese slicer, a motorized cheese slicer, and you slice part of the skin off. Before you put it onto the recipient site, you mesh it. There's another piece of machinery that meshes the skin. It cuts little holes in it, and that way it allows the blood to percolate through the skin instead of collecting underneath the skin graft. You can take that skin, move it down to the stump, and if there's a good bed, then the blood vessels will sprout and grow in to this skin graft and revascularize it, and it will become alive again. I'm almost sure it will take. Whether it will be durable enough to withstand the forces he will put across it is yet to be seen.
Open your eyes for me. Open your eyes.
The recovery period from a traumatic event is a lot like the recovery from a death of a loved one. You go through a grieving, anger stages, and you have your ups and your downs. And you know he's in a down right now.
Well, at least it opens for you. Caution, stand back.
I'm really up. I mean, this is the first real positive step that we've had. You know, I mean, we had some positive things when the healing was going on and everything, but you know, we still had some little setbacks and everything. And now finally, we've got a real tangible positive step in the direction that I want to go. And it's been a long time coming, and it's, you know, it's finally here. So I'm really up. You know, it's a big deal.
Oh, this is 100% now.
Yeah, it is. Great.
Okay, see you next week.
That's great. Skin's nice and loose.
How long does it take to make something after you do this?
Well, we'll probably have something for you to try on next week.
Oh, that's singing.
Yeah. It doesn't, this is the most important part. If I get this correct, everything else will be Not too bad. The socket's the most important part. It's the transition between you and the earth. Okay. If anything hurts, please let me know.
No, nothing's hurt. Just kind of...
Because I'm planning on putting your leg under a little stress. But when you're standing on, when you're standing on these things, there's stress there. I mean, all your body weight is going to be supported by these things. If I do anything that hurts, please holler.
You're just shoving me off the table. I don't think it'll hurt until I hit the floor.
How's it feel?
Fine.
No problems?
Fine. Doesn't hurt.
Good.
No pain, so I guess no gain.
We were testing the fit and stuff, and we had the tilt table, and we just had the sockets on, you know, nothing down here. And he tilted me up on the table, and I stood up there for half an hour. And that first 20 minutes weren't too bad, but that last 5 were pretty much agony. No, this is just kind of the spot, and I guess once that gets to start to hurt, and I don't notice anything else.
How's it feel?
Up inside a little bit.
Okay.
Kind of hurts. A lot harder than I thought it would be, you know, to walk and to use these things.
I think you've been on them enough. There's 2 primary difficulties. One is keeping the sockets fitted correctly, because his tissue, it just changes and changes and changes, because he's still a relatively new injury to be working with, and his levels of amputations are very high. And the other issue is the componentry of the prostheses or prostheses that we have available to work with really are not designed for people with too high-level amputations. And so the challenge is going to be keeping the sockets fitted and redesigning the componentry to make it work for him. Because he has the strength and the determination to walk. There's no shortage on those 2 components. The shortage is on the knees and the feet.
See, now, and I got all my weight on him.
Do you? Good.
I'm just holding on with my hands for balance.
Normal walking takes very little energy and is very smooth. And the difficulty for Brent, for his walking, is going to be that the prosthetic componentry is actually, as it stands today, is going to hold him back rather than let him be propelled forward as nature would prefer.
I kind of watch my feet and everything, and I'm trying to I'd like to walk good, and I want to be standing up straight, and I don't know, I don't do a real good job of either yet, because I'm trying to concentrate on about 6 different things, and I'm trying to keep all my weight down on my legs instead of holding myself with my arms. It's kind of neat to be standing up again. You know, that's kind of neat, and looking at everything, looking down on some things instead of, looking up. It's weird. It's like I'm just stuck up in the air with, it's kind of cool to walk, but it's really different. It's hard. I'm tired. I am a little frustrated because I thought it would be easier, and I thought it would go quicker. And I thought by this time I'd be up and walking and maybe thinking about going back to work, and hell, I can't hardly even stand up, and try to walk that way, forget it. These are a poor substitute for what I had. And this getting on them and walking on them and stuff has really driven that point home. And that's frustrating, that's real frustrating. But, it's the way it is, and It's going to get better, and I know, like I say, I know I'm going to be able to walk. I'm going to walk good, and I'm going to do whatever I want to do. It's just going to... The climb up there is a little steeper. I see some light, you know, at the end. I think maybe the tunnel's just a little bit longer than I thought, you know, and I just hope that light at the end isn't the train coming back to try and finish the job. I think it's really helped me, you know, in my walking and stuff, because I can get my upper body and everything strong. I really depend on that now to help, you know, for walking and getting in and out of the chair, onto the floor, or onto the couch or something. It's all upper body now.
Most of all, it's really exciting to see all the progress that he's made from that first day. That, you know, he can do the equipment or do the, you know, the bike or the whatever, and then it was going through the skin grafts and the different little things that he fought, and he always kept up his spirits, always.
I looked at the weights and the bike and all that kind of stuff as just something that would, you know, give me a little added strength, but just something that they wanted me to do, and so I was doing it. Of course, now I realize that they weren't having me do that for nothing. I'm going to really depend on my upper body strength to take the place of what I don't have anymore. It's a wrap. I just didn't feel like I was progressing as fast as I wanted to. I could tolerate standing in the leg and maybe, you know, walking in the parallel bars for maybe 30 minutes. And it was, you know, bordering on agony. And then when I took them off, I didn't want to put them back on again. I'm kind of a wimp when it comes to pain. You know, I've been through enough pain. I've dealt with enough of that, and I don't want to deal with it anymore. I talked to their patients and everything, and I talked to them, and everybody said, well, you know, you owe it to yourself to come to Savillage. I had to satisfy my curiosity.
Now, where we go again?
Sure, easy for you to say.
Well, it's easier for you too, isn't it? No.
Yes, lots easier. I was gonna stand here for a minute.
Come on.
Get my composure. I just want to grab onto something.
When Brent came in last week, we told him what to expect from the prosthesis, and he initially was a little bit disappointed that he was going to start out with very short prosthesis. We started him out at 2 inches of a raise directly underneath his residual limbs, and he amazed himself along with ourselves that he just got up and walked on him 3 days after coming in here, and walked extremely well. So our goal for next week is that we'll have you walking with 1 cane, okay? That's our goal. Whether we achieve it or not is another thing.
Well, have I not achieved
all your goals so far?
all my goals so far?
I think you have.
That'll be a toughie. That'll be a toughie.
But you'll do it. With Brent, where he's ambulating at this time, we've been very pleased, and we've actually today have raised him 13 inches, and he's accommodated immediately to that and walking with the aid of 2 canes. So I expect Brent's program may be less than a year.
I don't have the sense of balance yet that I had on the real short ones, and I think it's just going to take me you know, a little bit longer to get that confidence back since I'm higher.
This is about as fast as it gets right now. My left leg is so darn short, I can't take a very big step with it. I thought these were miracle machines. I thought these were something that somebody would make for me, I would put on, and I would take off. And a week after getting them, I'd be back doing everything that I did before. I honestly believe that. In the past year, I've come to, realize a lot of things and accept a lot of things. These aren't miracle machines. They don't do all the things that I wanted them to do. I have to do it. Not only am I going uphill, but this sidewalk leans that way, too. Feels good. Feels real good. I haven't felt this good since the accident happened, and it's an awesome feeling. It really is. Makes everything worthwhile. All the effort and the hurt and the, all that good stuff, the crying and everything. This is what we're shooting for, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I haven't been close to a train since my accident. Last time I was close to a train, it cut my legs off. I want to be an engineer, and that's what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna have to get close, I'm gonna have to get on it. I'm gonna go for it. I can do it. I can do it. I guess one of the only things I'm afraid of right now is not being able to do it. If I get up there and I just, for some reason, I physically can't do it, and that kind of scares me a little bit, I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to get up this one. It's awesome. I'm just shaking like crazy. I didn't know if I could do it, but I did it. Well, the support and all that kind of stuff's real important. I couldn't have got through it without, all the help. And my dad, my mom, the whole aunts, uncles, grandparents, right on down the line, sisters, everybody. It just kind of really been a big help.
You are in!
I mean, what a perfect cap to the trip. I get to go home tomorrow and I'll be able to tell everybody that I did it. And I got up here and I got on this puppy. And it's a pretty awesome feeling. It's like the first time I stood up and walked, Thanks! Hot damn.
the hydraulic unit here, when there's pressure on the toe, it releases the hydraulic fluid and allows the prosthesis just to swing freely. When the prosthesis is in what we call mid-stance, when we don't want the knee to buckle, the hydraulic unit is at its fullest strength and prevents it from going into premature flexion. But if you go back over onto the toe, release the hydraulic fluid, and the prosthesis kicks through. Also, it has the capabilities of locking the prosthesis where it will not bend by using a little switch up here. Now, here's your new legs. Ready to go.
See those hot tennis shoes I bought you?
Wow,
Ooh,
man.
baby.
Oh, he hasn't seen the shoes yet, no?
I took them from the store here, so.
Very good.
Those are...
Oh, you got 2 blue ones, too.
Yeah, just gonna say, he told me I was gonna have to have a gold one to start with.
Obviously, now these are not finished. They're going to have cosmetic covers over them. They're looking a lot better. Okay? That's the hydraulic unit there.
Wow, man.
That's pretty neat.
Pretty awesome, huh? I didn't sleep at all last night. I was so nervous, you know, and I guess excited and everything about seeing this and trying it out.
Okay, initially now it's going to be hard because they're taller than the other ones. Try and bend the knees if you can. Right.
Well, how? I guess that's, ouch. My question is how do you,
Go like that, go like this.
how do you bend it?
It's going to take a little bit of time, but you're going to bend it in a few minutes. Hold on, put back down into it, back down into it. The left one appears to be short, is it?
Yeah, see, it's I need to be like this.
Yeah.
And it's throwing me like this.
Go forward again a little bit. Okay, and turn around now and come back to me.
And I don't feel like I'm...
Well, you're not in there at all. You're not in the left one.
Yeah.
You know, and lift again.
Ah!
Sorry.
Ah!
Back down into it.
Mm.
Oh, my goodness. You're taking a lot of pressure back there, aren't you? Does the alignment feel better now on the left side? Do you feel you have more control?
Yeah, see, and I feel straight.
Yeah. Try and just stand up now without any aid.
They feel like they're...
Your back?
Yeah, they're throwing me back. See, I feel like that. So I have to bend at the waist.
Okay, I think you see what you're talking about. Try and get your hands down. Okay, it's just that the bone is deep there. Inside in it. We could make a little channel for it when it comes out of the socket. That would help a little bit.
Okay.
Take 2 steps again. Just with the one hand again.
Oh.
Come on. Try and go a little faster too, and I bet it'll be easier. Let's go faster.
I met Brent Polachek in July of '90, and it was his first day to come to the Savage Center. And I was sitting in the lobby, and I had been here 2 weeks, and I was sore, and I was tired, and I was homesick. And no one was here with me, and I was alone. And I was sitting out there really feeling sorry for myself, and I thought I had a really good reason to. And he and his wife, Kathy, come in, and they're standing over. She's standing over, and Brent's in this wheelchair, and they're discussing the paperwork, and so they get it, and they go back over right beside where I'm at, and he's filling it all out, and he's really intense in all of it. And he looks up to her, and he says, "Honey, they want to know how tall I am." 3 foot, what do you think? And he just busted out laughing, both of them did. And I sat there and I thought, and you're sitting here feeling sorry for yourself. If anything else, this man's done it for you. And he has all along.
Unless you're an amputee, you don't know how an amputee feels. I mean, that's the bottom line. There's no way that you could even have any kind of inkling of what it's like to be in Donna's shoes or in my shoes unless you've actually been there.
If I get down, all I have to do is pick the phone up. And he's on the other end, whether it's 9 in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 a.m., isn't it, Brent? I can call, and he's always there.
I'm Al Tweed.
Brent Polonchek, nice to meet you.
Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I know why you're here, and I know why you're here. I think it's real important that as amputees, we're there for each other, and we help each other, and draw off each other, and feed off each other, because we can make each other stronger. I'm just making my rounds, waiting for my legs to come back from the lab.
Are you making any headway?
Oh, massive headway, massive. Because I used to think that, nothing good could ever happen as a result of, my accident and losing my legs, but I've been proven wrong on that. Looking good. Feels a lot better?
Oh, yeah.
All right. There is not a feeling in the whole world, and I don't care what it is, but there is not a feeling in the whole world that ever compares with helping somebody else in need. And I'm not talking helping them by giving them some money or buying them a car or anything like that. I'm talking helping them by giving of yourself.
Brent's attitude is, especially for the person that's experiencing problems for the first time, because they look at Brent with sympathy to begin with. And when they find out that he doesn't need it and he doesn't want it, and then they're inspired. They're really inspired.
I didn't die when the train ran me over. And because of that, I just believe that there's some purpose out there that I have. I don't know what it is yet, but it's there somewhere. I guess what it all boils down to is if we all helped somebody, if we all helped one person, went out of our way to maybe try and make a difference in one person's life, if everybody did that, end of story. No need to have wars, no need to be stealing stuff, nobody's going hungry, nobody's living under a bridge. My goal of going back to work and being an engineer and stuff, that's still there. That's going to be very, very difficult, but I do think it is realistic that I should be able to accomplish that. One way or another, I have to do that. Otherwise, I don't think I'll ever be happy. And sometimes I just wonder the cycle of events and all that kind of stuff, the way things have gone. Maybe I'm not supposed to do that. I don't know. But then again, maybe I am. Maybe I'm supposed to do it this way, though, to show what can be done. And that's kind of, that's part of the reason why I want to do it. Not only do I want to do it to basically make my dream come true of being an engineer, but I also want to do it to show everybody else out there that what can be done. I'm just hoping that maybe somebody in that kind of situation can see what I've gone through and what I've done, and maybe they'll get up and do their own thing, get a little positive energy or positive feeling or whatever, and say, well, this guy's got both his legs gone, I just lost my foot. What am I feeling sorry about, And maybe I can make a difference in somebody's life.
Everything's been a lot harder and a lot more difficult than I thought. Walking and all that kind of stuff has been 100 times more difficult than I thought. You know, I mean, when I was laying there in the hospital and after this happened and seeing the tapes and pictures and talking to people and stuff, I thought, well, shoot, I'll get these magic legs, put them on, and off I go. Looking at how I walk now and whatnot, I realized that is going to get much better, and I'll be much better at it, but I'll never walk like I used to again. You know, that's just a fact of a life, and that's the way it is, you know, and you've got to accept that. First thing I see in the morning is my wheelchair. And the wheelchair, as much as I don't like it, is pretty much a fact of my life until the day I die. And who would have thought that 5 years ago? You know, it's kind of a shock. But at the same time, what happens, happens. You know, it's over, it's done with. And as much as I'd like to, there's absolutely nothing that I can do to change it. If somebody loses their legs, that's all you lose. I mean, you don't lose yourself. You don't. The only thing that you lose is your ability to stand up and walk around. But you're still the same person that you were before.